Hello, I'm introducing SyncMail. SyncMail is an AI email generator that takes an email subject and keywords from an user, and using Google's Palm API, it generates email body for the uh, desired email. So this application has the standard login and sign up features. So I'll quickly log in. So the backend is built using Syncloop. So there are multiple APIs. I'll describe those in a bit. So after login, we have the features of the prompts and generated emails here. So these are the prompts that are currently available in the backend, and user can generate emails in any of these. So I'll just generate an email for an announcement saying that extra lecture tomorrow. So this email will go out under the name of, let's say, a faculty or someone. So after I have the email subject and keywords here, I'll hit generate email. And so the request will go to the Syncloop backend. From there, the Syncloop backend will make a call to the Google Spam API. The AI will generate the email and respond, and this will be stored in MySQL database provided by Planet. So as you can see, the email is generated here, and here we have a copy button as well. And if I just go back to the dashboard, then I can see that all of my previously generated emails are listed here as well. So in a nutshell, this is the application. And now I'll present the Syncloop dashboard. So on Syncloop here, I'll quickly go over to the adapter. So in this, the first thing here is the database connection. It has the database URLs and necessary JDBC connection parameters. Then these are the 6 SQL queries that are needed. So this create user query is used for user sign up. Then there is a fetch email. So all of the emails that a user has generated are listed here. And then there is the fetch prompt by ID. So this is an arbitrary method as an extra that in case a specific prompt detail is needed, this will provide the prompt details. Then this is the fetch prompts. So this returns all of the prompts that are available from the database. And then the insert generated email. So whatever email the user inserts, this query will insert the generated email into the database. And then finally, this is the login endpoint query. This query does is it takes in an email and checks if the email and user with the email exists. If the user exists, then it will reply with the name and ID of the user. Otherwise, we can just fail the login. And moving on to the APIs. So in the email section, there are two APIs. So this is the generate email. So initially it takes in the keywords, the prompt ID. So the prompts are already defined at the backend level. So the ID of the prompt of whose type the email is to be generated and the subject. And the first thing it does it needs the prompt body. So whatever the prompt is to be given to the AI Google Palm. So for that, it's a prompt body. So it first fetches the prompt body from the database, and then to the prompt body, it then appends the user's keywords. So if I just check this, so here this prompt text is fetched from the database, and then from the payload, the subject and the keywords are appended to it. And after it is appended, then here the prompt is mapped to the request body object. Then the whole body gets a serialized, document object gets serialized to a JSON. And then this is finally the HTTP request that is being made. So this request being done to Google Spam API. And whatever response it returns as a string. Then this middleware service then converts the string JSON to an actual JSON. And this is a utility Java function that cleans the string. So due to the structure of the prompt, there are unwanted characters that are there in the resultant AI generated email. So this function removes the unwanted characters, and then this step finally inserts whatever email body and necessary data is there into the database. So this is a database service, and then it finally returns whatever generated email is there. It returns the text. And then moving on, this is the get emails API. So what this API is, it's a get request. It takes in an user ID, and for that user ID, it returns all of the generated emails. And then moving on to prompts. So first, this is the get prompts API. So this fetches all of the available prompts from the MySQL database. And then this is the get cached prompt. So this fetches prompts from Redis database. I have implemented a Redis based caching mechanism. So it is a proof of concept, but it illustrates Syncloop's capabilities of communicating with databases other than MySQL too. So it uses Vercel's key value database, Redis databases API, and it fetches so it makes an API call, and it fetches the API body from there. If I just quickly show you the request URL, so this is the request URL, and then it fetches this value, and then it also needs authentication header, so the API token is needed, and whatever the response is returned, so it returns the prompts that are stored in the key value database, so that the MySQL database gets offloaded for the frequent read request of emails. And then these two are the user related APIs. So the first one is the create user. So it takes in email and name. These are mandatory parameters. It has appropriate validation attached to it. It validates the parameters, and then it inserts it into the database and returns the ID of the user. And then this is the login API. So this takes in the email, and if it exists, then it will return the ID and name of the user. And then moving on to the string cleaner. So this is the string cleaner that I mentioned earlier. So it replaces the unnecessary new line characters, then the mail sentiment string which is attached by the AI, and then all of this string cleaning is done by service, and then it returns the clean string, and this is string to int. So the front end application is built using Flutter. So the Dart programming language which is used for it doesn't allow integer request header. So whatever request header I have to send those as a string. But if I want an int header, then what this function does is it takes the string, it parses it as an int, and then it puts it back into the pipeline, and then the user can use it. So this is all. I'll quickly show the databases schema as well. If I say describe email, so this is the Planetscale dashboard. So here we can see this database schema for the emails table, and then the users table, and then finally the prompts table. And then moving on, this is the Postman API dashboard. So here I can get all of the generated prompts. So this is what the response looks like from the coming from the API. So I'll quickly go over all of these API endpoints available here. So this is the get cached prompt. So this strings needs a little bit parsing, but this response came from the Redis database. So this is an effective use case. And then these are the create user and a login user endpoint. So if I hit the create user, then a new user is created and user ID is returned. And I just then to check if the user exists, I just have to pass in the email, and it will return me the mail body. And then finally the get generated emails. So for whichever user I need the generated emails, I just have to pass in the ID, and it will return me all of the emails that the user has generated till now. It returns the result email text, the ID of the email, the keywords, the user ID, and the subject. All of this is fetched by the Syncloop backend from the MySQL database. So yeah, that's all about my application.